Well, Donald Trump is taking the weekend off from the campaign trail. He picked up a major endorsement Friday from the National Rifle Association. And in a speech to the group, he rolled out new attacks on Hillary Clinton and even offered a new nickname for her.
Hillary wants to disarm vulnerable Americans in high crime neighborhoods. Whether it's a young single mom in Florida or a grandmother in Ohio, Hillary wants them to be defenseless, wants to take away any chance they have of survival. And by the way, you have men and you have women sitting in an apartment, and outside is tremendous crime of all kinds, and they need to be protected. And you know the only way they're going to be able to protect themselves. And if you take that gun away from them, it's going to be a very unfair situation. And that's why we're going to call her Heartless Hillary. We can do without that. Somehow I like crooked Hillary better.
Well, Trump continued to go after Clinton Saturday on Twitter, writing, "Crooked Hillary wants to get rid of all guns, and yet she's surrounded by bodyguards who are fully armed. No more guns to protect Hillary." Caitlin Huey-Burns is here with me. She's a national political reporter for RealClearPolitics. And in Washington, Mary Jordan is in the newsroom, our CBS newsroom, and she's the political correspondent for the Washington Post. Mary, I want to kick it off with you. Trump's been struggling to get the GOP to unify behind him. That was a major endorsement from the NRA yesterday. So what did that mean?
Yeah, it's a fairly big deal, but I think the most surprising thing about it is that here you have Donald Trump, who used to be for gun control, is now when he was a businessman, he was kind of right there with Obama saying we should get some more of these guns off the streets. And now, wow, what a huge attack on Hillary. And he got the endorsement. I mean, this is yet another example of how you never know what position Trump is going to take.
You know, it's a good point, Caitlin. I want to ask you how Mary mentioned about how Hillary Clinton at one point said that Trump had called for a ban, which he did, on assault weapons, and then eventually praised President Obama for calling for stricter gun laws. This was after Sandy Hook. So does that make it more difficult for Clinton to go after him?
Well, I think Clinton has found an issue that really, she thinks, will galvanize the Democratic base. We saw that throughout the course of the Democratic primary. She went hard after Sanders on the issue of guns. I think she'll continue that attack against Donald Trump, trying to expose kind of a hypocrisy of sorts that they've maintained that he's had, and shifting positions. And I think what we saw in this speech from Donald Trump is, because he doesn't have a history really with the NRA, because he doesn't have a history of gun policy that is favorable to Republicans or conservative Republicans, he used that to really draw the contrast that he wants to make between Republicans and Democrats. Really used that speech to go after Clinton more so than explaining what his policies are. We really didn't hear much from him about what he would do.
I want to go over, Mary, to talk to you about VP murmurings that are circulating through Washington, especially. We know that after Trump's meeting next week with Senator Bob Corker, there's a potential meeting with them. Do you think that raises the level that he could be the running mate that Donald Trump picks?
Well, yes, absolutely. And this is, again, the genius, marketing genius of Donald Trump. He continually leads the conversation. And, he's thrown out names to the Supreme Court. And now, to keep the momentum, the spotlight on Trump, he's saying that he's going to go after a senator who's got pretty good standing in the Senate. I mean, he runs the powerful, influential Foreign Relations Committee. He has said to us in interviews at the Washington Post that, I'm the outsider, so I'm going to get some guy that can walk the halls of Congress and really help me kind of make laws. So all eyes are on this meeting. I mean, he doesn't need Tennessee, where the senator is from, but he does need somebody that will have some ability to talk to the establishment, because right now this extraordinary thing is happening where everyone else that ran against him, who would normally be a VP pick, like a Rubio or a Cruz, they don't even want to talk to him. So Corker, it's kind of saying, hey, maybe establishment, maybe like dignified people are going to want to go with this very unusual celebrity businessman who suddenly has taken over the whole conversation of politics in America.
It certainly would make sense why he would pick him, as you lay out there, Mary. But Caitlin, I want to ask you, Donald Trump really knows how to push the right buttons, especially with the Democrats. And yesterday, during the NRA speech, he specifically took aim at Bernie Sanders, saying that he believed the race was rigged, which we know at the Nevada convention, there was a lot of violence over this. A lot of Bernie supporters felt this way. And then he goes on to say, I think you should run as an independent.
Right. Well, interestingly, there's talk on the Republican side, of course, of a third-party bid in an effort to give Republicans something, give them cover for those who don't want to support Trump. He certainly hopes in the general election to appeal to some Bernie Sanders supporters, those disaffected, white, working-class Democrats who he thinks could turn out for him. But also, it would be in Trump's best interest to have a extremely divided Democratic side and potentially a third-party bid. Don't think Bernie Sanders is going to go that route, but Trump is benefiting in a few ways by the long, drawn-out primary on the Democratic side. So it's interesting that he's using that example, and it kind of shows a little side of Donald Trump that maybe he has potential concerns about how he's going to do in the general if he's urging Bernie Sanders to run independently.
He sure has a lot of tricks up his sleeves. He knows the right buttons to push and when to push them. I want to thank you, Caitlin Huey-Burns and Mary Jordan, two smart women who know American politics well. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.